said a while ago, sometimes it's better to tell people to shut up. And some of you may, I can't remember now, but some of you may have been in the class where this occurred. It was a team leadership class. And I had a team of 3 people. I don't mean to be prejudiced here, but they were all women too. Because Williams was going to shoot me in there. It started off badly when I assigned teams. They were absent and had not given me some information I'd asked for. So since I didn't have any information, I just put them together, which was the first mistake. But I figured if I put them on if I spread them among other teams, they'd just mess up the other teams, so I put them together by themselves. Well, usually that works out. After a while, they get to know one another and everything goes pretty well. They didn't like each other. They didn't like each other at the beginning of the semester, and they didn't like each other worse at the end of the semester. Just didn't work at all. And so I remember in the final exam, and those of you who had the course know that the final exam, it's a team exam, the team works together to answer the question. And so I was up there, but at the podium, good stuff. I was doing. Class was working very peacefully on their exam. Everything was cool. And all of a sudden, over here on my left, I heard this racket. I would call it a squabble. They were, the 3 of them were really ticked off at each other. I have no idea what they were upset about. And I just looked at it, and I really didn't know what to do, because this was not what I just described. This wasn't a situation where we had 2 people who were arguing over something that I could listen to them and figure out what was wrong. They weren't going to shut up. So finally, I just walked over there and said, "Hush!" Except a lot louder than that. And they were startled, I think. They looked up at me. And I said, if you all can't work through this test, just give it to me now, you can leave. So they sat there and looked at me for a little bit more, and then they went back to work, and everything was quiet. I'm not at all sure we solved any problem. I think they disliked each other as badly after that as they did before. But at least we got through the class without disturbing everybody else. So I can't say that I solved that problem, or that anybody else did either. But sometimes you just have to say, hush. But of course, logically, once I said hush, and if and when they settle down, then we could go through the process I previously described. But first, you got to get their attention. And as it happened, that was not the place to sit down and work out our little issues and problems. So I decided that was the best thing to do. But I don't really mean to pick on women. I don't really think it's the fact that you are women that these incidents happen. But I have to say that most of my experience with difficult situations seems to revolve around women. When I was in private business, of course, I can say that too about my wife. I wouldn't get in trouble at all if I didn't have a wife. You know, I spent 3 years working in the ice cream business. We had a chain of stores like Case Ice Cream here in Central, and all women in the stores. And I was the supervisor. And about once I, of course, go around visiting the stores about once a week. I'd walk into the middle of a fight or something. And so I'm self-conscious, I guess, when I'm around women. But it's hard for a man dealing with women because y'all think differently than we do. But one thing I don't know if this is a valid observation of Ms. Williams. We'll have to tell you if it is not. But my observation has been that women are much more likely to express themselves, men are more likely to withdraw. rather than getting a big argument, they'll just shut up and go do something else and stay mad at one another.
Bury it and then,
Bad.
I said bury it and then have it come out physically,
Yeah.
probably.
That's right, yeah. Eventually you get the fist fight. The women tend not to do that. So, where you have a conflict with bidder involved, you may have to do a little bit more digging to bring that out. I don't know, when my wife gets mad at me, I try to keep my mouth shut.
Tasty trying to get
You
you.
got it. We managed to stay married for a long time, so it seems to work well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my speech. And again, what I'm really saying to you is stay calm and listen. And that'll get you on the right course, hopefully to where you want to get to, depending on the situation, of course. If it's a hush situation, you just have to say hush. But most situations, you can go a little further than that. Is there anything you'd like me to add to that? Or correct?
No, sir. I think that's good observations.
Right.
Good observations that you made. Do you guys have questions?
Yes, sir.
In that class you're talking about where you've seen a lot of conflict, have you ever had a team just totally just break apart where you've had to?
So far, we haven't.
Okay.
Now, I forgot to mention that particular team that I was talking about. We eventually wound up referring them to the counseling people. So we didn't solve the problem that day. We got them to where they were working pretty well, but in the end, they had to go to counseling. And I don't know what they did about it. But they don't tell us that. Yes, sir.
I'll say, do you still make your class do the introvert, extrovert test
Yeah.
online to group them?
That's
Yeah.
probably what those three people didn't.
Yeah, I was curious, that's what I figured.
They didn't turn that in. You're right, exactly right. They didn't turn that in. We talk about Myers-Briggs. Yeah, that was the problem right there.
What does it do?
Well,
What does it do?
the Myers-Briggs type indicator is a little test you, it's a big, long test. We use a shorter version. It classifies you by personality. And it looks at, it comes up with a four-part definition, two of which are introvert and extrovert, which is the ones I read on that class. So when I'm putting my teams together, I try to have a mix of introverts and extroverts. And those three didn't take the test to go online and do it. And now that you ask me that, I'd kind of like to know what types they were.
Yeah.
I'd say they were all extroverts.
The way it's sounding, I'd say they were.
Yeah, I'd say they were. Any other questions?
How long have you been teaching?
Here?
Mm-hmm.
About
Well, anywhere.
Well, as a formal teacher, about 100 years. Now let's see. I'm not a great mathematician. About 32 years.
Wow.
And I had another 20 or 25 private business. So that's where you said 100. And I had occasion to do some training in those real job, when I did real work. Any other questions?
Were you in a managerial role in
Yes,
your
ma'am.
previous work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Finally figured out it was easier to teach it than to do it.
Which it doesn't necessarily sound that way, because if you had more conflicts and
Yeah, well, a lot more conflict than I planned on. I thought I was getting away from that.
yeah.
I like the way I put that better than saying those who can do, those who can't teach. I don't like that particular saying, so.
So why'd they take the marketing part of the,
We kill the marketing program. It's sufficient enrollment. I hate to see it go. But that, I will mention this, you do have to take into account personality types. And frankly, the reasons we put those three majors, combine those three majors in each team is that number one, in the real world, if you're a management major, you do have to communicate with accountants and marketers and understand what they're saying. But more to the point, as I said, each of them attracts a different personality. And so it gives our students an experience of working with different personalities. Management students come up together and you figure out pretty quickly how you're going to work together. And I'm sure that's true for the other two majors as well. Well, then we introduce these strange people from these other majors, and the system doesn't work like it was working. The message, you have to learn how to deal with that. So that's the reason we do that. And you need, as managers, and I'm looking at, I'm assuming all of you will be managers, I don't know what your major is. You have to learn to understand that each of your people has a different personality, and they're going to respond differently to various stimuli. And that's an important part of understanding when conflict occurs. Because different people are going to react different ways.
Wonder if it wouldn't be beneficial as a manager to request that all of your employees take the Myers-Briggs or some kind of version of it,
I
so
think
you
it would
can.
be. And a lot of companies do go through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes it easier if you have some appreciation for the personality type to deal with. And MBTI gives you.
What's your personality type? Do you recall your three-letter? Do you recall your 4-letter personality type?
ESFJ. No, that's wrong. ISFJ.
You're not an introvert.
Right, I am. Glad I fooled you. Well, we're off the subject now, so I'll try not to take too much of your time. But one thing I've learned about introverts is, for the most part, they can become very good actors. Because one of the great stories, I think, is of the book Leadership. She tells about, she is a professor at one of the Ivy League universities, Princeton or Harvard or something, teaches leadership. She's doing research for a book. She went to the student union and would sit at a table and talk to whatever student sat down there. And she was talking to this one student, and I don't remember the exact details, but she was asking him what he did, something. He said, well, after class, I go back to my room and I practice doing what the other students are doing, because they're all extroverts, and I'm an introvert, so in order to survive the classroom, I have to look like an extrovert. So he literally observed the other students, and then went back to his room and got in front of a mirror and practiced being an extrovert so he'd fit in.